over.
Can you hear me?
And
hi, everyone.
so we're over here.
This is so fun. Look, they've made me a Reach Bake-Off bench. Isn't that amazing? Sorry, I'm really excited. Hi.
Please be excited as you
Okay,
like.
great.
And actually, to be honest with you, we can't imagine you anything but excited, frankly. So keep that excitement going.
Yeah, sure.
What are you going to do for us this afternoon?
Okay, so obviously we're going for a no-bake situation today because of where we are. But I still wanted to make it really fun and enjoyable. And this is something you can do with the kids. You can do it yourselves. But it's just a really easy way to do sort of little animal cake balls. So they don't take very long. Very minimal ingredients. I actually went and bought all this in Asda this morning.
Other supermarkets are available.
Other supermarkets are available. Yeah, we're not sponsored by anyone, are we? So literally, I just went over and got it all this morning. So, you know, it's all very easily accessible and obviously just something you can have a bit of fun with. So, yeah, let's go. So we're going to make a sheep, a chick, a pig, and maybe a frog if I can make it look good. If not, the frog might just end up on the floor.
Or it might be called something else.
Or it might be called something else, yeah.
Exactly. Right, I'm going to let you get started.
All right, lovely. We're going to get some audience participation going on. So what I've got in here, I've got some desiccated coconut. Okay, this is going to be our fur, feathers, whatever you want to call it. So this is a great way of doing this without getting stuff everywhere. I've got an 8-year-old, so I appreciate cooking with children or baking with children can be quite tricky. So this is just some pink food colouring going in with desiccated coconut. I don't know why I felt the need to make the noise of a pig there. And then I'm going to put some green in this one for the potential frog. Who knows if that's actually going to work out. And then some yellow for the chick. So yeah, and then I'm going to get some volunteers just to mix it up for me. This is a top tip for you. A bit of accessible baking. If you're making scones, however you want to say it, with little ones, especially if they've got a limb difference, but also goes for all children because they make a really big mess when they're baking. If you're making scones or anything where you need to rub butter into flour, the best way to do it is to put the butter and the flour in a Ziploc bag like this, and just literally give it to your kid and just let them play with it. And they basically, by doing this movement, just playing around with it like this, they don't make a mess and they learn how to rub the butter into the flour. So it's a really good way of doing it. But today we're not doing that. We're making chicks and stuff. So I'm going to hand these to some willing audience members at the front here. All I want you to do, I didn't put enough in there, is I just want you to rub the desiccated coconut with the food colouring until it colours it, basically. And you can do that while I carry on with the balls. Right.
Like hand them out.
Could you hand them out to some...
Would anybody like to...
Anybody want to have a go?
Or I'll just throw it at you.
Just throw it, yeah. Oh, no, don't do that. If I hadn't sealed it properly, I'd have felt awful then.
Who else? Other hand.
Just covered in
and let's
orange.
go this side. Don't want to make sure.
Pink desiccated coconut. Lovely. Yeah, so really just, you do have to mix it around quite a lot. Just give it a good rub. That's it, lovely. Get in there, yeah. Get involved. This is another great thing to do with kids because they can get a bit messy. So this is just some Madeira cake from Asda. Now, the reason I didn't make my own cake before you started me, right, is, yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, do you not make the cake? No, I didn't. Because with cake balls, right, I'm just going to mush it up. So what is the point in making a really nice cake to then just destroy it and turn it into crumbs? So basically, and Madeira holds up quite nicely, and it's cheap. So I just bought a couple of Madeira cakes in Asda this morning. So I'm just going to smush them up. And yeah, I can hear the rustling. How's it going? How are we going? We're going. The yellow one's the hardest one. If you've got the yellow one, I'm sorry. It just doesn't like colouring as much, but you're doing great. We like a challenge.
And because she's such a professional, actually we didn't actually ask you beforehand, but we're going to invite some questions as we go along.
Oh, please do. Okay. Yes, no, please do. So I was actually a member of Reach when I was a kid. So I've got to say, being here with you all is a really special moment for me. Reach was such a support for my mum back in the day. So I was born in 1984, so I think we started coming to Reach maybe sort of the late 1980s. And obviously there was no social media then, there was nothing. And my mum felt very alone. When I was born, my mum has, since admitted to me that she fell into a depression because she didn't know how I was gonna turn out. She found it really hard, and there was just no support for her. And then Reach came along and basically completely changed everything and supported her and supported me, and sent me things like the recorder that's got the wires on it, which I still talk about to this day, and I think my mum's still traumatised by. But I just wanted to say that being here with you all it's a really special thing for me. It feels like a real full circle moment. So and Reach, just all the time in the world for Reach. So yeah, it's lovely to be here. Oh, thank you.
Now the question is, were there cooking demos in those days?
No. I tell you, I want this fancy back in my day. Yeah, it's so lovely now. Look at this. We've got benches and everything. How are you getting on with the colour? You all right? I can see pink. Beautiful. That looks great. Thank you. Yeah, you've done great with the yellow there. It is a lot harder than... Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you. How's the green? You're legends. Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause for our helpful volunteers? So all I've done here is I've mushed up my Madeira cake back into crumbs. Thank you ever so much, my glamorous assistant. And I'm just going to add in, now you don't have to add in icing here, you can add in cream cheese, you can add in whatever you've got in your cupboard, bit of Nutella, other chocolate spread brands are available. Oh, it's all right, we're not on the BBC, are we? So we can say what we want. Yeah, basically you just want some kind of moisture to bind the cake crumbs back together. As we were talking earlier on, I was chatting with one of the lovely Reach staff members, and they were saying that someone said, oh, yeah, you can make cake pops when you've got cake left over in your house. And she went, what do you mean you've got cake left over in your house? And I fully agree with that. But if you've ever got sort of cake that's going a bit stale, that's perfect for doing this. Or, you've got offcuts, you can freeze them and then make them with the kids. So I'm literally just mushing it all back together. So this bit's quite therapeutic.
Have you got a cloth down here?
It's all right.
To wipe your hands.
I've got some black things. It's fine. I've got some little.
Maybe if somebody can grab us a few napkins, I think
I've got some napkins. That'd be fine. Don't worry. I'm used to making a mess. It's all good. But yeah, if anyone's got any questions for me, please ask, because I really would love to. And
if you do it through the Slido way, just so everybody.
Oh, I tell you what, the technology these days.
It's very impressive, isn't it?
It's amazing. Right. So I'm just literally squishing it back together. I might put a little bit more in. You're basically kind of getting it back to a kind of a dough consistency that you can form. So we'll put a little bit more in there. You can as well, if you want to, on this, you can dip the balls in melted white chocolate before you put it in there. But I thought that might just get a little bit messy. So we're just going to go for this method.
So when you're cooking with your kids, any particular advice? I mean, the bags tip is great.
Yeah.
Apart from don't, what else?
I would never say that. I mean, I think I love baking with my daughter. I love cooking with her. She's 8 now, and she's been baking since she was 2. And it's lovely because if you ask her what goes in a cake, she'll give you all the ingredients, and she'll sort of say to me, "Oh, Mummy, can we make this weekend?" It was a couple of weekends ago. She was like, "Oh, Mummy, can we make this out of Kim Joy's cookbook?" So Kim Joy was on my Bake Off with me. I don't know if you remember, but she used to make these beautiful like animal creations. They were really cute, and they were really anyway. So Kim Joy very kindly sent me her cookbook, and Nora's wanted for ages to do something from it. She chose the hardest cake in there. Right, it was like a tiger. Like striped, marbled with a unicorn horn and this, that, and the other. And I was like, sure, I mean, we can give it a go. But yeah, she likes to be quite ambitious with her baking, which is quite nice. But I would say top tips, pre-weigh all your ingredients. That is, and also again for accessibility, that's really good. Because, if your child finds it quite slippy, maybe holding sort of certain bags of things, if you pre-weigh the ingredients, they've got it all out in front of them then, and also it stops them adding 3 kilos of flour when all you need is 300 grams. I'm just going to make my balls now. I won't make any comments there. Just shaping my balls. Sorry. I'm a bit overexcited. It was so close. I almost didn't make it yesterday. Anyone else who came up from King's Cross? The post-apocalyptic scene that was happening in there. You understand what was happening. So it's quite frankly, I'm just very excited that I managed to get here. How's Toby? There's my mate Toby back there. If has anyone else seen little baby Toby in his Reach top and star leggings? He's literally like the cute. There he is. Look at him. Hey, Tobes.
Is that the Reach top and leggings you can get from the merch table?
Is it? I don't know, Alistair. You tell me.
Possibly.
Yeah. Oh, well, there we go. If you want your kid to look as cute as Toby. So I'm just literally just moulding these. So, I mean, again, this is one of those things, they don't have to be the same size. Oh, thank you. They can really be sort of, they can be smaller, they can be bigger, however you want to do it, it's not a problem. Like these are definitely not the same size. These would not go down very well on Bake Off as when they say they all need to be the same size and shape and whatnot.
So we've got a couple of questions.
Oh, yes.
Come in.
Hit me.
The first one is, what inspired you to get into baking in the first place?
So my grandma, my lovely Nana Pat, she was a home economist, so she always used to do lots of baking. But the main... So I did baking when I was a kid, butterfly cakes and things like that. But it wasn't until 2013 I was off work. I was a teacher at the time, teaching French and Spanish, and I was off work for about 8 months, and they couldn't really figure out what was wrong. Eventually, it turned out to be polycystic ovarian syndrome. So luckily, it wasn't serious, but they kept misdiagnosing me. And the nurse at my school suggested I try crocheting, knitting, and/or baking. So I tried knitting. I wasn't very good at it. Tried crocheting. I was all right, actually, but I could only make really tiny hats. And then I tried baking, and the baking stuck. Even though the first things I made were awful, and I mean lumps of butter just floating around in the batter, awful pancake thin cakes. It really was just a disaster. But I kept at it and kept going. And then, somebody said to me, "Oh, you should apply to Bake Off." I was like, "Yeah, all right." Jokes. And then I did, and I didn't tell anyone. But managed to get on. I'm still not entirely sure how I did that, but I'm going with it. It's been 5 years. I'm still riding the wave. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dunk my balls in... Oh, I'm not going to say that.
You can.
No, I can't. I know it's mostly adults in here, but still. I'm going to put the cake balls into the desiccated coconut of each colour. That was better, wasn't it? That was more PG, wasn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure, actually, they're terribly bothered, frankly. But now, we've got another question. You first appeared on a reality TV show. How do you think differences on TV have changed over the last 5 years? And could you answer that in 5 words, please?
Good, but could be better.
Fine. Now
Thanks.
You can expand.
Okay. Representation on TV there's a long way to go. It's getting better. I was the first disabled baker on Bake Off. Since then, they've had someone who was an amputee. They've got a lady on this year who's deaf, and she's from Bristol, which I'm a little bit annoyed about. 'Cause she's trying to steal my thunder. She's disabled and deaf. Disabled and from Bristol. It is getting better, but I was chatting to someone just then actually about Strictly and how I really want to do Strictly. That's on my goals. I got quite close this year, but didn't quite make it. So basically, there's a green ball, they only ever have one disabled person on each year, and it's come on, just because you've got one on doesn't mean you can't have more than one. Because when it came back, you're not going to be offered it this year. And I was thinking, I wonder who the disabled person they chose is. And I knew it was only going to be one person, and it was. Until we get to the point past that, I think we're not doing, until it's just there, people are just there, and, it's not a tokenistic gesture.
And the other thing, of course, is younger people aren't watching as much TV. It's all streamed and so on. So we've got to somehow reach people, excuse the pun, in a different way than maybe we did, because the terrestrial TV audience is kind of fixed, and it's probably not evolving maybe as much as other streams.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, TV, the landscape of TV is changing all the time. So it's very much a case of, just getting as much representation out there as possible. So, I think, we can do better. I think, but we're getting there.
Now, another question, which, stop cheating.
Sorry, I'm looking he's got the questions there. I'm looking, I'm for a little read.
Growing up as a Reach kid, what was the most beneficial thing that the charity did for you?
Oh, I mean, I kind of already said it just now, but I'd say the support they gave, not just me, but my mum and my family. I think that was, for me, incredibly important. Just being able to see other kids that look like me, or grown-ups, and not being the only one is, you can't underestimate the importance of that. When I was younger on TV, there was nobody who looked like me. I think, that it wasn't until I was, in my teens maybe, and they had a TV presenter with one arm, and then you think, oh, well done, but, where is everyone else? It's just... They showed me that there were other people out there like me, and that's awesome.
And do you feel that's a slight responsibility now that get out there as much as I can because I'm actually representing?
100%, yeah, absolutely. And I love it. I find it a real honour and a privilege to be able to do that. So, you know, it's just, there's a knock-on effect. I was saying to someone earlier that, you know, the new little Lego person Autumn, who's only got one arm, who literally I cried when I saw her. The guy who designed her messaged me saying that he designed her when he was watching me on Bake Off. Yeah, right. I literally cried my eyes out. I told my mum, she cried her eyes out. And then I went and bought out about 6 sets with Autumn in. My daughter was like, this is great. I've got so much Lego. But that just shows, and I was saying earlier, like it's just a knock-on effect, the fact that I was on TV, just there with my hand, baking, badly a lot of the time, you know, that he happened to watch me on TV. That then inspired him to make that Lego. And then that Lego then goes out and loads of other children get to play with, you know, Lego that looks like them, or just Lego that looks different, you know, and acknowledging that that's okay. For me, that's what it's all about.
Brilliant. We've got, goodness me, I've seen all the questions coming up. Biggest challenge you've had with the practicalities of cooking, and how did you come over it? And some of it you've shown us here today.
Yeah, I mean, my mum, and I'm sure there are a lot of parents in here who are exactly the same. When I was growing up, she was very much, if you can't do it, you figure out your own way of doing it. You know, I learnt to tie my shoelaces at the same time as my older brother. And I like to remind him of that very regularly. He's got 2 fully functioning hands, by the way, and is 2 years older than me. Just to really rub it in. Can you see what's happening? Can you see the pigs and the frogs? These are going to be sheep. I've forgotten what the question was.
About getting over practicality.
Oh, yeah, the practicalities. My overexcited brain can't deal. The practicalities, I think, yeah, it's just figuring out your own way of doing it. You know, just giving yourself time. If something doesn't go quite right, just, you know, take the time then to do it again and see how you can get it right. When I was on Bake Off, they asked me if I wanted, you know, do you want any special equipment or treatment or whatever? And I said, no, I'm just quite happy to just to get on with it. But there was one moment where, when I was doing my Alice in Wonderland pie, the week I got Star Baker. Throw that in there. And I was trying to lift the pie up and pull out the parchment underneath, because I couldn't serve it with parchment underneath. And I lifted the pie up, and then I was like, I can't pull it out. The only way I can do this is with my teeth. And I thought, that's not going to look good on telly. So I just said to one of the producers who was stood next to me, I said, would you mind just being my left hand and pulling that out? And they kind of looked at me, looked at their colleagues as if, is this allowed? And then they sort of whipped it out, and I was like, thanks very much. So, you know, it's just a case of figuring it out and you know, finding the little shortcuts. Also, if you are into cooking or baking, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, invest in a good mixer. Like, I've got a KitchenAid at home, and it is my lifeline because it does a lot of it for me. So I don't have to worry about the fact that, you know, I can't hold a bowl in a certain way or I can't mix things in a certain way, because the KitchenAid does it for me. And that, you know, KitchenAid's quite expensive, obviously, but there are cheaper options out there. So, yeah,
we've got a question about social media, and I think this is probably going to be a perfect thing to come up later on when we have our panel, which Alex is going to host later on. But how are you with social media? Do you have any advice to people on social media, and specifically for a tween with a limb difference wanting to join the world of social media?
I think just be wary of social media. I think social media can be a wonderful thing. I didn't have Instagram before I was on Bake Off because I didn't really know how to use it, because I'm nearly 40 and I'm very much a Facebook kind of era. I would say, just be careful. I tend to find that if you put positivity out, you get positivity back. So I don't really put anything negative on my Instagram. I don't go in and I don't argue with people. I tend to try not to be too controversial, only because, you know, I don't want to have to battle that a lot online. I don't want people coming at me and attacking me, because that's not what I use my social media for. So I tend to put as much positivity out there as I can, and I find that, you know, I get that positivity back. So
I can't imagine you doing anything but positive.
I have my moments, as my husband.
Interesting enough. By the way, can we just say a big shout out to everyone watching online?
Hello. Hey,
So, let's have a cheer.
Come on.
Everyone watching online.
Yeah.
And they're just saying they're loving all the speakers and everything. And they want to invite you. And I think you might have a few invitations for this. So you might have to sort of share yourself out a little bit.
Yeah.
But available to do baking class at a local meetup. They'd like to invite you to their Christmas party.
Oh.
Apparently they're getting in early. They've obviously got bookings for this year because they've said next year, not this year.
Oh, I see.
So they're obviously, you came in second to whoever they got.
Sure, yeah.
But
I won't try not to be offended. So I've got all my little balls now, so I'm just going to add on their little features. So yeah, any more questions? Just keep
them coming. Okay. Any kitchen adaptive tools that you found useful with the limb difference?
Ooh.
Apart from your KitchenAid.
Apart from your KitchenAid, yeah. I mean, a good mixer is definitely up there for sure. Just trying to think what else I might use. Think really simple things like having, if you've got a chopping board like this, having a table washcloth sort of underneath it to stop it moving. Yep. Just to have you've got that grip on it just makes it so much easier. But yeah, I think for me, it's very much the mixer is one of the biggest ones. So yeah, I'd say.
Excellent. Good. What else have we got? Social media again. Playing a part in connecting with Reach members and becoming an ambassador yourself. Because I think I forgot to mention the fact that you are an ambassador.
I am, very proudly.
So first of all, how did you become an ambassador? And then how do you now use social media to connect with people within Reach?
So
I asked that question just as you're doing something quite intricate there.
So I'm just making a pig snout.
Excellent.
So I'm just going to pop a little pig snout on there. Oh, did someone just go?
For those of you watching at home, we're getting all sorts of interesting noises coming from the audience.
I love it.
Nothing like participation.
Fly buzzing around. There we go. It's a very accurate pig. It's got flies and everything. I forgot the question again.
I forgot the question as well.
Sorry.
What was it?
I'm honestly not drunk,
I swear. Being an ambassador.
Being an ambassador.
And connecting and using social media.
So yeah, really proud to be an ambassador. So Reach reached out. There's that pun again. After I'd been on Bake Off to ask if I'd like to be involved with the charity, and I jumped at the chance. Because I kind of, when I was going on Bake Off, they did say to me, look, you kind of have to make the decision now whether you want to, use that platform for things like charity and representation, because you will get asked once Bake Off's over. And I decided that I really did want to use my platform if I could. They got in touch and I jumped at the chance, obviously, like I said, because they were such a support to my mum when I was younger and to me. It's just been a real joy. So when parents get in touch, a lot of parents contact me on social media and say, my child's got a hand like yours, have you got any advice? Or they just contact me to say really lovely things like, my child's got a hand like yours, and I just wanted to say thank you for showing me that, that I don't have to be scared and that they'll be okay, and things like that, which is quite frankly very humbling and an absolute joy to get those messages.
It's interesting you talk about the interaction you had with the production company of Bake Off and them giving you a bit of warning about what could happen afterwards, because we hear about the tragedy of Love Island and many different of sort of these reality shows where the support is or isn't given. I know a couple of people who've been on The Apprentice and the lack of support that they got. How do you find that kind of thing? And if anybody here is thinking of going on a reality show, what kind of things would you tell them to prepare them for it?
I mean, you just have to be aware that, people can be very unkind. I've had lots of unpleasant things said about me, but you have to ignore it because, most people are good. Never feed the trolls, for sure. And, if you want to do something like that, 100% do it. And, make sure you've got a good family support network around you, because that's really important. I used to get my husband to read the tweets about me, and he'd filter them for me. And he'd be like, oh, no, don't read that one. Oh, no, don't read that one. Oh, this one's nice. And, so, he'd go through it for me and kind of filter out the bad ones, because I didn't feel the need to want to see all of the horrible things that people had written about me.
Because it's something we talk a lot about at Reach is resilience. And,
oh, yeah.
And now you've just added a whole new layer of resilience.
Yeah, it's exactly that. You do have to add that resilience. And it's hard, and it does affect you. When I was on, when I started on Escape to the Country, somebody started tweeting about how annoying my laugh was. And I was like, oh, Oh, okay. And then I found that I wasn't laughing as much when I was presenting on Escape to the Country. And I was like, oh, this is so ridiculous. Like, just because one person decided they didn't like my laugh doesn't mean that I can't, have a bit of a giggle when I'm doing, when I'm on Escape to the Country. So,
and the same here, by the way, because people are saying they're enjoying the vibe at home. Hope to see you next year. And if you are watching at home, I don't know which camera we're looking at, but I hope you come back next year and you do come along and join in, because much as we appreciate not everyone can come, if you can. Would you agree it's good to be here?
Yeah!
Not sure that was quite loud enough, but it'll do. Love that I can still feel part of it by watching online after my train was cancelled.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, I feel you. It was King's Cross yesterday.
It was pretty horrid, wasn't it?
It was pretty scary, yeah. I'm not going to lie.
I would say that I saw you there, but frankly, there were about 4,500 other people there, so it was difficult to see exactly who was there.
Yeah. Oh, well, I should have done him with a little limb difference, shouldn't I? Hang on. Sorry, I didn't even think that. Hang on. He's gonna have a little limb difference, our little chickie here. There we go. There we go. No.
I love the way you're talking to them.
Sorry. Is that a bit weird? I just entertain myself, to be honest.
That's fine.
But yeah, basically all I'm doing is I've just got some fondant here. It's like the ready-made stuff you can buy in most big supermarkets now, which is great. And I'm just, doing little shapes for the beak and the legs and the snout and stuff. And then I'm just literally sticking it on with a bit of icing. So I'm just doing the ears for the piggy. So it's a really, really straightforward, sort of simple thing to do with the kids. Or do it yourself, if you're a grown-up, if you want to.
No, there's a big difference, though, to being interested in cooking for yourself. And even Bake Off, in the sense, was people observing you. But now that you're presenting and doing your morning live slots and stuff, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? To, actually being able to create and cook while you're talking and being entertaining and being bubbly and being Briony.
Yeah, I mean, the live stuff is quite scary. I'm not going to lie, I forgot the word for butter on live TV the other morning whilst I was chatting to Gabby Roslin. And you think, I literally just went, blah, blah. She was like, and you've just got to kind of keep going and hope that not too many people at home noticed. So...
And then make sure that's the tweet that your husband takes out.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I was like, why did she say blah, blah instead of butter this morning? I love live TV. I think it's so much fun. It's scary, but the adrenaline rush you get is great, and then at the end, it's whatever you've done is done, and it's out there.
It is what it is, yeah.
Yeah, if you've forgotten the word for butter, there's not a lot you can do about it.
So you said earlier on that you're here to ride the wave of TV and whatever's out there and go with it and so on. What would you like to do? You said Strictly you'd love to do.
Strictly's on my list. What would I like to do? Escape to the Country will be back next year. Escape to the Country is an absolute joy to work on. I get to go nose around people's houses, legally. And it's so fun, and the team's amazing, and I get to meet some really lovely people. As you can see, I'm not even using like a proper tool. I just took this from the bar. It's just a stirrer. So you don't need fancy tools and stuff. All these people that tell you need fancy stuff to do baking, you don't. Might need some more fingers, though.
And that must be
too early.
that must also be quite tempting. You have to control your sort of language occasionally, unless you're somebody who actually finds it really easy not to say an inappropriate word.
It depends. Well, I suppose because I used to be a teacher, right. I am not too bad. Right, I'm going to pop the eyes in now. Little piggy's coming to life. Hang on. I don't find it too bad. I find I put my little teacher brain on. So, because I think if you swear on the BBC, that might be the end of your. Might be the end of your career.
It has spelt the end for a few, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And look at this. As soon as the eyes go in,
I know, right? It comes to life. So I've never been the kind of person who does like super fancy, elaborate baking. I like to do stuff that actually people will want to do and have a go at home. And I hope that you would like to do something like this.
So here's a great question that's coming from someone who I noticed they're anonymous. They say, who would be your ideal partner on Strictly?
That's a good question. Because every time I say, I really want to go on Strictly, everyone goes, you're not going to run off with your partner, are you? I'm like, no. So I'm doing this upside down, so if their eyes are really wonky, we're just going to go with it. Are they wonky? Are they all right? The pigs are all right, aren't they? The little chickie might be a bit wonky, but, come on, stop it.
What are these little things, by the way, that you're putting on?
Oh, sorry. These again. It's literally just bought from Asda this morning. They're just like little little sugar balls. I tried to find some googly eyes that they sell in most, edible googly eyes that they sell in most supermarkets these days, but they didn't have any in Asda this morning, unfortunately. Yeah, this chick's looking a bit weird. Let's move his nose up, his beak up a little bit. There we go. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah, so they're just, it's just little edible sugar bits. But you can also, I also got these things here are edible piping, sort of writing things. It's great. To be honest with you, like when I was on Bake Off, they didn't have any of this stuff really in the supermarket, but I found the last couple of years, you don't need to go to Hobbycraft or anywhere like that. They'll just kind of, you can get it in your local supermarket.
And you seem to be someone who's passionate about getting kids involved with food early on, so therefore they wind up hopefully then cooking for themselves and not going down the sort of route of pre-made and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love getting Nora involved in cooking food. I think it's really important to get kids understanding where food comes from. I'm lucky that I get to talk to a lot of people, a lot of nutritionists in my work, but also other chefs, and it's surprising when you ask a child where milk comes from. A lot of them just say the fridge. And it's I just think, if we as a, and I'm guilty of this. I'm not saying by any means that I do this. We don't sit down and eat as a family like we used to. And I think we've lost a little bit of that, which is a shame because it's such an enjoyable thing. But we all lead very busy lives. But it is nice, I think, to help kids understand where their food comes from, what it does to their body, that kind of thing. So.
I was going to say, obviously all of those series of Food Unwrapped you did, what was the biggest revelation for you in that, where you suddenly thought, wow, I had no idea?
I had no idea. Oh, gosh, there's so many. So many. I'm just trying to think of one. I can't think of one where it surprised me, but I can tell you a little story about when I went to the disgusting food museum in Oslo with Food Unwrapped, and they made me eat urine-soaked fermented shark. And are there any little ears in here? Only Toby's are so little he won't understand. I also had to drink alcohol that had been soaked in a beaver's anus. Yep.
Why?
Apparently, it's a delicacy. I mean, they told me it was a delicacy. It might have been a joke.
Anyway, enjoy your afternoon tea.
Yeah. But I've got to say, out of the two, the alcohol in the Beaver's What's It wasn't actually that bad. It was quite vanilla-y. Compared to the shark. No, definitely not.
So we just want to...
Sorry, yeah, so I'm just... if you need to wrap up, you wrap up.
No, we're just looking at where to put it so that we get the best...
Oh, sorry, so I'm just getting...
just slide it back towards your
Slide it back, yeah, no worries. So I'm just getting my sheep together. I've got look, so the pigs and the chicks are done. The chick's done. So I'm just doing my sheep and my frogs. But yeah, if you need to wrap me up...
No, we're fine with that. We just want to make sure everyone can see.
Oh, hang on. Oh, his eyes. So this is like little... you can just buy this in Asda or another supermarket. It's just called writing icing, and you literally, I'm just going to put a little blob there and a little blob there for his eyes.
And the nice thing is these are obviously really low calorie as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah, no calories in these whatsoever. I mean, obviously this would be a treat. This isn't something you do every day, but it's a nice thing to do with your kids. And also, you can get creative. You can ask them what kind of animal do you want to make and see if they can come up with a way of doing it. So it's
I'm going to ask you to cheat a little bit for the camera.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
And if you wouldn't mind coming towards me a tiny bit and just rotate that way.
This, like this, and then that way?
That's it.
Where is the camera? It's there.
Perfect, yep. James will soon tell me if it's right.
Oh, great.
Well, you got the reaction
now. That was a great reaction, guys. My froggies are faceless at the moment, but, And again, it's just like little balls and little triangles and things like that. So it's not like you need any special equipment, any particular skill. This is just something that you can have a good time with the kids. Oh, that sheep's come out really cute.
I have to say, that is very impressive.
I want to hang on.
No, I'm sounding surprised. I do apologise.
Yeah, hang on a minute. No, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised, if I'm honest. No, it's something I would do, and it's you can do it with them from a very young age when you're doing something like this. So yeah, I would highly recommend. I mean, I'm going to finish my frogs because that upsets me if they're not done. But yeah, come on, because they've got big eyes on the top of their head, haven't they? Yeah. I mean, this is probably going to go. This isn't going to look. If this goes wrong, we'll pretend that it's a monster for Halloween. Okay.
Actually, yeah, Halloween.
Love Halloween.
It's a great time to be doing all these kind of things. Any sort of tips about pumpkins and pumpkin pie and all those kind of things?
Well, actually, I just did. I did 3. These are going to look like monsters. Are we all ready for a monster? Yeah. Mike Wazowski, maybe. So, yeah, with pumpkins, I've just done a little story with Morning Live about pumpkins, and it's coming out. It'll be coming out on Friday next week. If you check it out on BBC One, I did 3 recipes for pumpkins. We used the guts of the pumpkin, the bits with all the seeds in. We used that to make pumpkin bread, which was absolutely delicious, like a spiced pumpkin bread. So again, you're not wasting the guts of the pumpkin, and also pumpkin spice latte syrup. And some other bits as well. So, yeah, if you want some tips on what you can make with your pumpkin. And in terms of pumpkin carving, get someone, if you're like me and you need, a little bit of extra grip, get someone else to help you hold it rather than trying to, stab it with a knife and carve it that way. You're going to end up cutting yourself. So I would just say do a bit of a team effort, a bit of a family effort. I might throw these frogs, I think, might go in the bin. Or should we just love them?
I'm sure someone's going to eat them irrespective.
Should we love them in all their wonky... Yeah, but they're just making the others look bad. The others look cute.
We'll put them on a table by themselves.
Oh, look at them. No, it's okay. Do you know what? We're embracing their difference, aren't we, guys? That's what we're here for. Oh, my gosh, they don't even look like frogs. What do they even look like? Look, I love them, but we're going to move them over here. And I'm going to move them over here. Because look how cute they look as a little farmyard. Oh no, the chick's lost his legs. Oh my goodness, it's all going wrong.
And the frogs have been evicted.
The frogs have been evicted. They're not been evicted, they're just going to sit on their own little plate. Okay? There we go. How's that? Okay. My little farmyard.
Actually, well, there's a lily pad for them.
A lily pad? They're going home. They're over there in their lily pad. There we go. We've got our little farmyard.
There we have it. Amazing. Brilliant. So, are you okay?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm having a lovely time. Sorry if it was slightly manic. I honestly haven't even had a drink today. I'm just really excited to be here. So thank you so much for listening and letting me jabber on. And if you've got anything you want to talk to me about in private after this, I'm around tonight as well. So please do come and have a chat with me.
Well, I've got one final question before we let you go.
Yeah, hit me.
Which is, if you could give one piece of advice to a rich kid, what would it be?
Oh, goodness me.
A nice easy one to finish off.
Yeah, a nice easy one to finish off with. Just be proud of who you are. And this is more than one bit of advice, but be proud of who you are. Don't be ashamed of it. And don't let it stop you doing what you want to do.
Great advice.
There's no reason it should.
Thank you very much. Briony May Williams. Thank you. Absolutely fantastic. I think these actually, tonight, we should auction them off.
Not the frogs, though.
The frogs will get a premium.
Yeah.
They'll get a premium.
Do you know what? I might go to the back and work on the frogs and make them look better, because it's upset me that they've come out like that.
But yeah, we will auction them off later on and maybe have a little signature with them or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
Just something to make them special. If it raises another few pounds,
please
it's
do.
Be worth it.
Yes,
yeah.
please do.
Fantastic.
Thank
One more
so
time,
much.
Briony May Williams.